I have memorized all 100 senators, and I'm going to tell you them from my head. Alabama, Doug Jones and Richard Shelby. Alaska, Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan. Arizona, Kirsten Sinema and Martha McSally. Arkansas, Tom Cotton and John Bozeman. California, Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris. Colorado, Michael Bennet and Cory Gardner. Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy. Delaware, Tom Carper and Chris Coons. Florida, Rick Scott and Marco Rubio. Georgia, David Perdue and Johnny Isakson. Hawaii, Brian Schatz and Mazie Hirono. Idaho, Jim Risch and Mike Crapo. Illinois, Richard Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. Indiana, Todd Young and Mike Braun. Iowa, Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst. Kansas, Pat Roberts and Jerry Moran. Kentucky, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul. Louisiana, John Kennedy and Bill Cassidy. Maine, Susan Collins and Angus King. Maryland, Ben Cardin and Chris Van Hollen. Massachusetts, Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren. Michigan, Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow. Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith. Just made a little mistake there. That's okay. Mississippi, Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker. Missouri, Josh Hawley and Roy Blunt. Montana, John Tester and Steve Daines. Nebraska, Deb Fisher and Ben Sass. Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto and Jackie Rosen. New Hampshire, Jean Shaheen and Maggie Hassan. New Jersey, Cory Booker and Robert Menendez. New Mexico, Tom Udall and Martin Heinrich. New York, Kirsten Gillibrand and Chuck Schumer. North Carolina, Richard Burr and Tom Tillis. North Dakota, Kevin Kramer and John Hoeven. Ohio, Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman. Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe and James Langford. Oregon, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley. Pennsylvania is Bob Casey and Pat Toomey. Rhode Island is Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse. South Carolina is Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott. South Dakota is going to be Mike Rounds and John Thune. Tennessee is Marsha Blackburn and Lamar Alexander. Texas, Ted Cruz, John Cornyn. Utah, Mitt Romney, Mike Lee. Vermont, Patrick Leahy and Bernie Sanders. Virginia, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. Washington, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell. West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito and Joe Manchin. Wisconsin, Tammy Baldwin, Ron Johnson. Wyoming is Mike Enzi and John Barrasso. And that is all 100 U.S. senators. Now let's see if I can get all of the U.S. representatives next.